I got a book for my daughter, The Gruffalo's Wain. Don't know if you've ever read it before, but it's
No.
the famous book, The Gruffalo.
Oh, I've read that,
There's
but I
another
could
one
probably
called
read
The
that to you without
Gruffalo's
the book.
Same now. There's another one called The Gruffalo's Child, right?
Yeah, I've read that.
Um,
Yeah.
okay, but it's the same story, the exact same story, but it's in Doric.
Oh, wow.
I can't read it. Just genuinely cannot read it. It's awful. I feel so ashamed of
For our
myself.
international
You should be.
listeners, for our international listeners, Doric is some weird accent language from the northeast of Scotland,
Yeah.
specifically Aberdeen.
I fit like Ken, huh?
Yeah, I suppose in the Shire, I guess you'd
Yeah.
get it more like farmer talk in the Northeast.
It's half a hard to understand. Ken, what I mean?
That's pretty close, actually. It's
Ain't
pretty
bad, is
good
it?
going. That's pretty good going. Um, Unless you just put off a lot of the listeners. They've all signed off now. They have no idea what you just said. But yeah, genuinely, the Gruffalo's Wain, I could not understand what I was reading. Took me ages.
If we could get funding from the Scottish Government if we did these things in Doric.
They don't have any money, do they?
Well, no, they got money for that.
We got a little bit.
Uh,
Probably got a little bit to fund weird projects
Throw it in
like
a Doric podcast. Let's maximize it then.
that. Oh God. Okay. I suppose we should start talking about what we're supposed to be talking about then, huh?
well,
It's always a good point.
it's always a good point. I have no idea where this is going to take us. What's the topic, Sean?
We never have any idea
No.
where it
We
takes
start
us.
off with a topic. We start off with a topic and then just take it from there.
Well, yeah, well, we sort of do. This one is all about it's specifically having it all together, but more specifically the illusion of having it all together.
So kind of like how we started this discussion then.
Yeah, we set off so confident, didn't we? I don't know. I think it's a similar concept of being busy but not productive kind of thing.
Is it though? Because I see it,
Probably not.
I see it as different. I see that title as something completely different. I'm thinking on more in terms of how you portray yourself outwardly, but you're something completely different inwardly. Is that inwardly a word we need to check that?
Inwardly, internally,
Internally.
we
And
know
what
what you
I'm
mean.
thinking, right? So if you think, and the reason I thought, oh, that's a good topic when you said it was look at the Ricky Hatton situation recently. So
Proof.
obviously he'd spoken about mental health and struggles as a lot of people have done over the time, but on his last kind of interviews it seemed really buoyant. He was training again, really upbeat, and then there was a massive shock that's what everyone saw, that yeah, he's this jovial guy and he's talked about his troubles but he's doing well, and then he's not here anymore, he's not with us. And then you
Yeah.
kind of look at a lot of that led me into, well, having to think about, we've spoken about it before, the social media, the influencer type profile where, everyone's got it all. But then you're seeing now things unraveling with a lot of these kind of young influencers that are, portraying this amazing lifestyle, that they're millionaires and driving fast cars. And then you kind of get these layers peeled away where really they're living a fake life, they're broke,
Yeah.
they've got nothing and, utterly depressed and portraying this persona. Why? And to what end? That's kind of where I thought that was going to go down.
Yeah, so not our usual comedic start to one of these.
No,
No, it was quite heavy, wasn't it?
it
No.
was. Sorry, guys.
But I suppose that
It's
fits with
important.
my impression of it as well, was this idea that, well, first question I had in my head is having it all together what we're chasing. Somehow that's the thing you should have. And therefore we create this illusion, this facade, this mask that, yeah, I'm together, I'm good, I'm doing it. Is that what we're talking about? It, or do we all put on a face anyway? Do we all wear a wee bit of a
Good
mask?
extent.
Especially in certain situations where you feel you've got to have that mask on, otherwise you can't actually survive the situation. Work would be a good example of that. Lots of people go into work and put a mask on.
Well, that's the whole thing, isn't it? The common expression, put a brave face on, and that's
Brave
just what you do. You just go ahead and crack on with the day, and then deal with the trouble later.
Well, it's a cliche right there, isn't it? You know,
Of course it is.
earlier episode, check out earlier episode about cliches, but put on a brave face. What does that even mean? But uh, Andrew, you know about this. We've done numerous profiles when, when we were working together, through various kind of exercises we've carried out. And, part of that, if you look, you have your work profile and your personal profile, and how
Yeah.
often it's interesting how many people's don't really intertwine that much, or there's a real kind of almost putting on an act. You'll explain it a lot better than me, but you'll get kind of someone who's an extrovert, probably, myself, I put that in there, or you'll get an introverted extrovert. Andrew, would that be you? Am
You're
I
gonna have to
putting that?
explain that one a bit.
Somebody who behaves extrovert, but whose personality is really
Yes.
Um,
Now
yeah,
I'm not saying that they're losing holding it all together, but it goes back to putting on a face, putting on a persona.
I react quite interestingly to that because part of me think, well, actually, what's wrong with that? Um, if you want an interaction with somebody to work, then you need to think, well, how do I need to be in order for that to work?
Agree? Yeah.
Not sure that that's a bad thing,
No, I think it is. I don't
but
think.
it can be quite hard work
Yeah.
where you ask all the time, and especially if you're covering up your true self and doing something because you think you should, even though it's actually, there's no need to. You can just be as authentic as you want. I think a lot of people do find that hard at work, that there's an expectation that they need to be a certain way, and they're like that all the time. Then they go home and collapse on the sofa for the evening and
Hmm.
cope.
I can relate to that. Yeah. Yeah.
But I do quite like the idea that people think, well, who have I got in front of me? And how do I ensure that my interaction with them works well? If that's an illusion, is that an illusion? Or is that real? Oh, gosh, I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know if it's an illusion. It's more just at a certain point, it's keeping up appearances, isn't it? You're seeing what they're allowing you to see. So I don't know if the term illusion is actually correct on that one, but I know it's sort of is. I can't think of a better term for it. But
I'm struggling with the
yeah,
sentence.
you use the word authentic, which is pretty interesting because yeah, she could be authentic, but are we putting on the brave face and like trying to look like we've got it all together out of fear, or is it because we're not really interested in sharing the other side of it? I don't know.
Well, is that because we're worried that if we reveal our true selves somehow or other, that means we lose out, or the other person will be affected by that, or we lose face, to use another phrase associated with that, will no longer look good, that type of thing.
Yeah,
Interesting. I just put in when
yeah.
we're talking about this, it's always good to kind of see where it goes. So
Mhm.
I was just doing a little bit of online live research to see what that actually means, the title means. So a
Hmm.
couple of them we've touched on there. I'll run through them really quickly. So personal life. So this is under like the illusion of having it all together. One we just touched on, immaculate social media presence. Posting
Hmm.
photos of a spotless home, happy kids, luxury vacations, while behind the scenes there's stress, arguments, or financial strain.
I'm going to interrupt you there, Craig, just real quick,
Yeah.
because I don't know if you've been eagle-eyed enough to notice my background isn't actually real. I took a photo of this background because this is what it used to look like.
Well, I remember that there background because I've been in it. So what's
Not
happened to the
anymore.
background?
Well, I'm giving you the appearance that I've got it all together in this one because it's an absolute disaster behind me, for a few different reasons. But that's just how I like to remember it. So I'm just going to keep it there.
Hmm. I've written down it's impossible
It's impossible.
It's impossible to hold it all together. Is that what you mean?
altogether to. That sounds
I'm
like
I'd
sure it
agree with
is.
that. I'd agree
I'm
with that.
sure it is. You're going to drop something, aren't you? But is it impossible to make it look like you've got it all together?
No, no, far from it. That's the
why.
illusion.
Why
That's the
would
whole point.
what's the driver for you thinking that you need to show to everyone that you've got it all together? Why?
Reputation. It's got to be, isn't it?
What 100%. Look at this. So I looked at one from work and career. Reputation's a really good one. We can think of lots of examples currently that we'll
Yeah.
see on almost a daily basis. Flawless professionalism. Always
Hmm.
calm and competent in meetings while privately scrambling to meet deadlines or overwhelmed by imposter syndrome. Andrew, that's one for you that yeah, I'm sure you can use or you can take that and steal for one of the workshops. busy and successful, keeping a packed calendar now, and the amount of times you will have someone say, "Oh yeah, I'm out the door, everything's fantastic," and it makes you scratch your head because you think, "Oh shit, well, is it just me
Now,
that's
now
finding
Yeah.
things difficult?"
we've got to put Craig on the spot here because what did he do before we came on?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
did.
yeah.
Read
It's true.
out his calendar to us.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but let's be fair. That's because it was user error in screwing up time
that's fair.
zones. So that isn't even the illusion of having it together. That's the honesty of not having it together at all because I got time zones muddled up.
Can't argue with that. Can't argue. All right, so I mean, I get the big one, I guess, is probably your social media presence, right?
I think
Because
so. I think
that
certainly now.
fools
Yeah,
people into a lot of false sense of security.
absolutely. A lot of
Like
pressure as well.
it does. It gives people a lot of things to compare to, and so on. My wife is a great example of that one, to be honest, because she looks at other people's homes and thinks, you know what? Why doesn't mine look like that? Why isn't is it as tidy as that? And it's essentially because you live in it and you don't take photos of it every day. That's all it is, really.
There's a
Yeah.
big part of that, isn't it? Do people feel
Yeah.
pressure to keep up,
Well,
to
but the
show that
other,
they're having a nice time? And
I think the crux of the issue is the term illusion, right? So that tells me that the people that are looking like they've got it all together are essentially trying to trick you. And it's the same thing with like if you see a guy who is genuinely wealthy, you never hear him tell you that he's wealthy. You just sort of know that he's wealthy. Do you know what I mean?
for
Like,
the most part, yeah,
well, yeah, you know, like, sorry, take the top
you'll
10
see
richest
some. Yeah.
guys in the world.
No, I
Every
get you.
single
Yeah,
person in the
yeah.
world know that they're how rich they are and so on. But it's the people that are on the crux of becoming wealthy, those minorly rich people try and tell you all the time. And in reality, they're probably in more debt than we are.
Well, you have the Floyd Mayweather example. We spoke about Ricky Hatton
Yeah,
earlier at the start.
yeah.
So if you look at the build up to their fight, he's on my mind because of what happened recently, but it's
Mm.
pertinent to what we're talking about here. And all the build up, he would say, "Look, I've got 2 million on my wrist. I've got 100 grand on my pinky. I've got 200 grand on my finger." And Ricky Hatton turned around and said, "But everyone still thinks you're a dick." You know, so
That's all you need.
it was one of my favorite Ricky Hatton moments. Everyone was laughing, you know, because he was giving this, well, look at me, you know, you should
Yeah.
like me because I'm dripping with all this money. And you know, so well, you know, I'm standing here as a normal guy. People like me, but people think you're a dick. So is there a is there a misconception about how
Oh,
you should be
massively.
treated?
Massively. Yeah, there's a common misconception that people mistake wealth for class, shall we
Or
say.
happiness, right?
Or 100% happiness. Yeah, that if you could just get to the next zero, then you'll be happy, and then you turned out you'll be more miserable than you are before. But that's another concept of having it all together, isn't it?
Yeah,
What does it mean?
absolutely. If it was about wealth, then you wouldn't see so many kind of suicides in
It's true.
actors, rock pop stars,
Well, I mean, take
sports
one of
stars.
the probably
It's
one of the
dreadful.
funniest guys ever to live, Robin
Robin
Williams.
Williams. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. See the program behind the turmoil that he was in.
yeah.
But on the outset, if you hadn't
No one
seen
ever
it,
saw it.
didn't know, if you didn't have the internet, if you didn't see the documentary, you would be forgiven for thinking this guy has it all together. He's
Of course you
funny,
would.
he's liked by everyone, but then you see it behind the scenes, right? So that's a
Yep.
perfect example.
So,
It's a perfect example.
I mean, I don't know enough about Robin Williams to comment, but he was
Watch
unwell.
Inside the Mind of Robin Williams.
Mm.
It's a documentary. It's
That's
fantastic.
Well, it was incredible.
that contributed to it. Are we reflecting more on the sort of day-to-day illusion that people create that's not to do with mental health or anything like that? It's just simply to do with what we're like as people. And if we're not wearing the right brand logo or whatever, then
Well,
somehow we're missing.
I think one will feed the other. To be honest, you got your short
Yeah.
term and long term kind of things, really. So yeah, I mean, I gave up on branding clothing about 6 years ago, something like that, because I quickly realized that no one gave a shit. Really, especially during COVID, that was a real telltale sign because I wore the exact same color T-shirt for 3 years straight. No one
I have a
noticed.
question for you, Sean.
Yeah,
What phone do you have?
it is a let me check. It's a Google Pixel 8. There you
You've
go.
deliberately chosen that phone because you didn't want an iPhone.
No, I chose this phone and genuinely, right, because I recently purchased this phone and I only chose this phone because it is small enough to fit in my hand. I shit you not. And my old one broke. My old one was too old because it was the Google Pixel 5 beforehand, and it was tiny. It was so small. It was great, and it was light. And I looked at iPhones, I looked at Samsung, I looked at everything. And the Google Pixel 8 is the smallest phone I could buy because phones, for some reason, are getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
I like that you actually have a logical plan about it, whereas I just get the newest iPhone because I'm stuck with Apple.
Because you're trapped.
I'm trapped in Apple, and it pisses me off, but I cannot be arsed learning to work another phone. I don't know what that says about me.
It wasn't,
It's
wasn't
it's
really
not hard.
technical question. It was more a kind of branding question back to the previous episode as to why we buy what we buy and what they say about us, and the fact people phone because you can see it. One of the things when the phones get covered in bling, and you think, well,
nope, not one.
I get those.
Nope.
Designer. Listen, I like an old designer label, but designer phone covers though.
Yeah,
it's not for me. That
far, right? Surely that's too far.
You can get designer anything now, like literally anything you want.
But who am I to say?
Yeah, it's true. It's true. But no, I genuinely, that's the reason I bought this phone. The fact it's an Android is irrelevant.
We buy, do the things that help us with our own decisions on what our illusion is. You know, that we buy the car that we buy because it creates an illusion for us. We buy the phone, we go on the holiday, we wear the clothes. These are all part of the mask, the illusion that we put on it. And once we're comfortable within it, we think, well, I'm okay, that's me.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I've got a counter argument to that, and it was one that I discovered mid-COVID because I'm a big fan of the show Would I Lie to You? David Mitchell said something, and it struck a nerve with me, and I've never been able to forget it ever since. It's fashion sense. I don't know if you guys have ever seen the show, but it's fashion sense.
I know who he is, but no.
One of the lies he spoke, right? Well, it was supposedly a lie or it was true. He said his fashion decisions that he makes are in no sense noteworthy, but not unnoteworthy that it then becomes noteworthy. Does that make sense? So he's like he's right in the middle.
Yeah. So he's left himself beige to an extent. So
essentially,
yeah. So it's not like as in if the labels are designers, so people say, "Oh, look at that, check that guy," but the same size labels are shit. So they'd be like,
so
you
the implication behind that story is that he's not creating an illusion, but actually the truth is he is.
He sort of is at the same time.
He's creating one
by an illusion of beigeness, as you put
it.
So
creating one by not trying to create one.
As a result on that, basically I've done essentially a similar thing to him. Is I buy clothes without a brand visible to it, so you wouldn't be able to tell.
And you buy the same things
all the time. Yeah. To the point that I'm the dullest man in the world because I genuinely have a document of what I own. So if I needed more of it, I'll go and just click on that and go and buy it again. And that's just how it is. My car is I use the term practical rather than stylish. It's downright average as far as I can tell. I actually hate it. I need another one. But my wife loves it, so it's fine.
Sounds like you need to create an illusion.
I know. I need to do something about it. But I think my illusion is that I don't give a shit about it.
But that's not an illusion.
It wasn't until I started this podcast.
So now you need to create one. As a personal coach, as you need to create an illusion.
Your
glass will be half full.
Worried about every decision you make that you're actively trying not to create an illusion.
I think I went the other way. I went too far not giving a shit that now I have to give a shit. So I don't know. It's one or the other. It's the extreme on either side of it. You know. So I tried very hard not to care, or I didn't care enough, and now I care. Doesn't matter.
So what are the kind of key, like, sort of, if you think the brackets of this, the illusion of holding it together? So you've obviously got the personal one, your personal life. That's
your business has got to be the second one.
Working career is a big
100%.
one, right? And again, I'm trying to link, are they all linked to social media or are they not? So if you look personal life, the illusion of holding it all together wouldn't have been so important or so prominent before, right? But now you've got social media.
I think on the personal one, I think it would have been, but the circle would have been much smaller. So, like, for example, if you went to the pub with a bunch of guys,
Got you, yeah.
you'd have to explain it to them, or
Yeah.
in any circle of friendship or whatever you had, you would have to try and keep it together. But now you're fighting the world that can see what's going on, rather than just four or five people or whatever. Work, yeah, it's the same as the social media thing. You're trying to go against everyone
Well, it
here.
is. It's going the same
You've
thing.
got to,
Look at
yeah,
LinkedIn. It's
yeah,
again, it's is it a positive or negative? I don't know. I think it's kind of in between. You've got the financial one, which we've spoken about before. We touched on with the Floyd Mayweather
yeah.
one. It's that luxury lifestyle where, and God, having kids, I see what they'll quote these things to me. Some guy I can't remember. They'll have some stupid TikTok name, and so, but they've become a billionaire through a side hustle. A side hustle doing what? Doing what?
Ah,
And there isn't any logic to it. It's
yeah. But you can
and
make
you've got
money
all
doing
these.
stupid stuff now.
I know,
You know
I
what I mean?
get that. I do get that, but it's a
But
distraction. Surely, it's a
well,
distraction.
well, not
And how much?
necessarily, because what your kids don't see is how many people it took to make that happen.
What they started off with, how many people it took to make it happen, but also how many of them are genuine.
Well, that's the other factor as well. You
So
know?
I
Yeah.
remember a meeting that Craig was in where we were having a conversation about making a success, getting there, and so on. And one of our colleagues in the meeting had just bought a new car,
Yeah,
expensive new car.
yeah,
And one of our other colleagues was reflecting on how he wanted one of those new cars
yes,
as
yeah.
well. And he wanted it that afternoon, type of thing. And so on.
Hmm.
And I'm avoiding mentioning any names here. The people I'm
You're
talking
doing
about,
well.
they are. And as we were walking out, the guy who just bought this car turned to this colleague of ours and said, "It took me 30 years to buy that car, and you want it now. That's not how it works." And I thought it was a
Good
very
lad.
pointed statement about this desire to have these illusory things as
Yeah,
quickly as possible because somehow they're a reflection of success. And
Hmm.
it, well, actually, it doesn't work that way. It takes a lot longer. So there's people who are
Quite
watching,
like that.
yeah, yeah,
TikToks
yeah.
going, that's what I want, that's what I want, that's what I want. I want to be like that. Not realizing a couple of things. One, a lot of these people are putting a lot of work and effort in. It's hard work to be successful. And some of the people they're reflecting on who've got a lot of money, they've taken huge risks and spent years working on it to get to the point that they are. We have this kind of instant gratification that we need to have. And a lot of the time that seems to be through external things like branding and what you buy and where you're
Hmm.
seeing stuff like that, you know?
I think the
Ah,
honesty side of it is good. I think that's a positive, though. I think that that's
yeah.
totally okay to say that actually, well, if you're portraying a certain lifestyle, a certain personal life, certain financial status, a relationship. If it's genuine and then you're kind of backing it up by saying what goes into it, I think that's a positive.
Yeah, I
But it's
agree.
I
when the
agree.
things are just scratching the surface and it's portraying it and it's not true. I mean, take if you put on Instagram, right? And you anything anywhere you look, it's super successful, perfect looking people with perfect lives. That can't be the case. That can't be true. So you either just take it in, appreciate it, look at it, smile, flick on, and don't let it bother you, which is okay. Or you can go down the route of thinking, well, actually, that's why don't I have this when the majority or everybody else does? And then go down that kind of spiral of, well, no self-worth. So I know
Yeah.
it's leaning towards a social media aspect, but it's not just about social media. It's about the kind of the everyday, switching
Hmm.
something on. What do you see?
You can't say to anyone that you're struggling with something, or for instance, that business is a bit quiet,
Why
right?
though? Why?
Well, because there's this idea that if you say that, you're seen not to have been successful, or you're not very good at something, or something like that. So
I want to,
it's this kind
yeah.
of thing where you get coaches on LinkedIn who say, "I've only got 2 spaces available this month for coaching activities. Contact me now." And you think you've got none. You've got
Yeah, you've got
Sure.
you've got a free diary. Yeah,
a diary, but you could.
I get that. Yeah.
Well, let's combat that, shall we? Um, Combat that with Lewis Capaldi. He was quite
Oh
famous on
yeah,
social
yeah, yeah.
media a little while back because somebody portrayed him as having it all together rather than him actually doing it. It was
Yeah.
thrusted upon him.
That's another really good example. And then you saw
Yeah.
him
Well, I mean,
being
there's been a
so
documentary about him and everything.
yeah, yes,
And
right,
he's,
yeah,
he struggled and nothing. But the thing that struck me as well is like, why can't you? What you said there, Anders. Well, why can't you come out and say like, portray yourself as not being that successful? Because somebody wrote an article about him saying he's worth $10 million or something like that, and he did a video saying he's got less than 300 quid in his bank. Where's the money?
Mhm.
So he's gone the other way with it. And to be honest, it made me respect him more.
Yeah, so you're going down a thing of fake news, fake reality, and false perception. So
Well, that's the
there's
thing.
a
But
really
some
negative
of the
kind of
some of the
overarching.
stars are fighting it as well.
Oh,
Then,
well, a lot of people are. A lot of people
yeah,
are.
yeah.
I
But
mean, look,
it's
it's
weird.
okay to portray being happy. I think the business one's a tough one. You know, Andrew, I know we
Mm.
mentioned that. I can give examples. You know, when you're at shows or exhibitions, and I really like when, you know, people are honest and say, you know, how are it? And so, well, you know, God, it's tough. It's a struggle. But, you know, you're getting there because then it creates open conversation and you can feel that, well, actually, you're getting, all right. So it's not just me, that honest approach. And look, I'm not saying that there aren't instances when, you know, the majority of people are struggling that you're going to have, you know, the one or two that the minority that are doing really well. But it's when you're kind of got that perception that you're the only one that's struggling, and then you're questioning, well, am I missing something?
How come everyone else is saying everything is so good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's nothing
But
happening.
at what point
Yeah.
in your business life do you turn that trying to keep up appearances genuinely into somewhat like looks like fraud?
Well, the
Couple
funny
of
thing is, I think that it only really happens when you're in a position, unfortunately, to
mm,
comfortably say it without the fear of losing business or losing the confidence of people who will give you business. You know, and I have seen that, you know, with individuals I've spoken with who have kind of been open with it, going, well, I don't really want to say that I'm
yeah,
not busy because, and I get that. I do get that because, you know, I'm kind of saying, you know, contradicting what I'm saying. Would I feel like that if I knew someone, it wouldn't really bother me if I know what they could do. But if I'm speaking to someone, I'm looking for a bit of work done, and I think, God, you've got no work. Is why have you got no work? So that's a tricky one.
It's,
it is. It is. Go on, sorry, Andrew.
three words that appeared before we came on. I did my usual thing. I just scanned down LinkedIn to see what people were talking about. And there were three words that cropped up. And they were all prefaced with a fourth word, which I'll tell you in a minute. But maybe you can guess. The words were proud, happy, and delighted.
I knew delighted would be in there.
Oh,
I
delighted.
knew it. It's every third post on LinkedIn.
Delighted to be.
Yeah.
I'm delighted to be here. Delighted to be there. Delighted to have won. Delighted to have worked with. Guys, I'm not taking the piss out of anyone, but it is just a.
But what's the fourth word that was in front of each of those three?
So say I'm
No, super.
super. Oh, super.
Super proud, super happy, super delighted. And I've written lies. It's
Yeah.
that you've got to, in that social environment that's LinkedIn or whatever,
Yeah.
happy about everything. You can't actually say the way it is. So here's a thing for Craig specifically. While on holiday, I made a decision I was going to try and be more honest about LinkedIn posts that I saw by not being nasty to people, but actually commenting honestly rather than constantly nagging at the back of your mind. Smooth this a bit so it doesn't sound as if you're insulting or anything.
Yeah.
I want to be respectful. So I commented on a recruitment post. I won't tell you which one.
Okay.
What do you normally get in terms of hits, Craig? I normally get between 1,000 and 2,000 if I'm happy.
Do you know what, I haven't really, but I'm gonna have to. Yeah, I
And
don't.
that's me being respectful and smoothie and so on. So this one was a bit critical about something that somebody had said.
Mm-hmm.
And I was trying to be realistic and say, well, hold on a second. Is that the reality?
Yeah.
Within 2 days, I got 14,000 hits.
Okay.
It resonated with people that you called bullshit, right?
Well, I didn't quite put it that way.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Questioning what they were saying and saying that can't be the case.
Mm-hmm.
Having some logic and
Yeah.
But so what did that say to me? He said, well, actually, the illusion that I was trying to create that I'm super kind to everyone.
Okay. Yeah.
so on, and I am, I'm respectful and so on.
Yeah,
But
no, I
actually
agree.
saying, well, hold on, that's not right. That isn't the situation.
Mhm.
Think about this. Suddenly, whang, people are going, I noticed that. Now
Wow.
that feeling for me a little bit in terms of that. Don't know what that means, but
I think it means that there's in the mirage of LinkedIn, there's something authentic to read, and people resonate with it.
something
It's
about
a
that.
tricky one because it's even in personal ones. I
Yeah,
noticed that. Yeah, I'm not good at putting posts out. I
I never
haven't
do.
been. I enjoy talking to people and being out, but I'm not great at sitting down putting out a post. But when I'm out, say with family and in groups, I think, oh God, and I don't know what it is, but I better put something out there. Now it's genuine. It's not like
Mhm.
if you look at that family one, it's portraying something that's happy and isn't. We are, we're having a great time, but you think, oh God, we don't share anything. So there's that. We'll put pictures and we're smiling, we're having a nice time, and it is. But then you kind of sit back and go, shit, have I overdone that? Am I putting too much
Mm.
Are
of
you
a?
are you you're worried you're making it look like you have it all together when,
Yeah,
like,
or
even though
like,
you
am I
do?
rubbing it? No, it's not so much that. It's
Well,
it's
the
it's the
situation that you're talking about, though,
yeah,
like,
it's
yeah,
more like, oh God, if I'm putting this out there and then other
yeah.
people having a
Do you
shit
know?
time, we're sitting
I
there having
totally
a
get
great
that.
meal and we're having a nice cocktail and
Yeah,
actually, it's not to say, oh, look, we've got,
That's in a moment, isn't it? And that's okay.
yeah.
Points that are really, really important.
hmm
It's when you have to live your life as that illusion, constantly being
Do you know?
aware.
It's pressure.
I've got
Yeah,
a cracking
Unnecessary.
example
It's
of that.
unnecessary pressure on people. But I think
Yeah.
my big question is how
Right.
much of it is how much the pressure is external put onto people through things like social media, but how much of this do people put in themselves now to portray, to have
Oh my
this
God.
having it all together? Do you see what I mean?
yeah,
So
Yeah.
yeah.
I've got an
what's
absolute
and
belter of
how
an
can you
example
break
for
it?
you on this one, and I'm sure you'll agree. The pressure to portray that you have this so-called perfect life, right? By showing people that you do things and eat a certain way and go out to things is. Have you ever been to a concert where all you see is fucking phones?
Yeah. Someone
You've
banned them recently.
what a decision that would be.
Yeah,
Um,
they
I,
did.
but essentially, you pay hundreds, potentially even thousands of pounds to go and see somebody, and you watch it through a 6-inch smartphone
Yeah.
because you're trying to show the rest of the world that
Inch
you're there.
case,
What was that?
3-inch smartphone in your case.
Not much of a food.
Five, so it's
Yeah,
five and a
I
bit.
get you.
But it's
Yeah.
absolutely true, and you think, what are you doing, and why are you doing that? Why aren't you just experiencing what you've actually paid money to go and see?
How many times are you going to look back at it on your phone?
Never,
Right.
not once.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
watched my wedding video twice at most. I got bored the second time a
That goes
little
back
bit.
to I have to make an effort to take photos. So if we're away
Yeah, me too.
somewhere, so I'm away with the kids, or I had my son away for his 18th, and we're having a great time, just a fantastic time. And then you think, oh shit, I haven't taken any photos or videos. Now, what I do like sort of social media things for, and my wife's great at it, is sometimes when you get pop up, I don't scroll for it, and you think, oh, that was a really good day
hmm
10 years ago, and you remember the
Little
day.
reminiscence.
So there's that kind of balance, but I'm very much with you about living in the moment and enjoying it. So has that
Yep.
been lost? You think that's been lost a little bit now?
I think it's harder. It's harder to do. I think it's subconsciously, a lot of people are just. I need to capture this. I need to save
Yeah,
this moment. I need to, I need to try and remember this, despite the fact that you do have a brain and probably can remember it. Uh, there's especially having a young baby would try and capture every single thing she does.
yeah,
The first time
yeah.
she's crawling, like
Of course.
she's almost walking now, which is great. So we're trying to capture that. But
But
y-
that's not
y-
an illusion.
No.
That that's
no,
like
it's not. But why am I trying to capture it? Is now I'm telling myself, and I truly believe myself that it's because I want to remember it and I want to look back on it later on and probably show it to her when she's 18 or something, and or even when she is a kid. You know what I mean? Like we'll show her this, um, and that's great. I can't speak for anyone else though. Why do people try and save these things?
um, talked on one occasion about what would you do if your house was burning down? What would you go
Yeah.
back in to get? And he said he'd go back in to get his photographs.
I'd probably get my kid first, but
Yeah, so it's that idea that those moments that you captured
Yeah,
are actually really important,
I
and
like that.
they are quite
they
effective.
are.
Yeah.
They
Um,
are.
um, it's when people deliberately create a moment that's an illusion.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
I'm glad we've touched on that.
It's those Instagram poses and
I tell
faces
you,
and things like that.
someone got caught out with that. I don't know if you saw it, but there was a so-called influencer woman who was crying, I think in her car, if I remember correctly, with her son, whose dog had died, and she didn't realize she was live streaming. She thought she was recording her crying, and she was instructing the child how to pose whilst crying
Oh,
so she could
wow.
get likes out of it.
That
Unbelievable. Blew my mind. It's
That,
just that is a sick world we live in now.
well, that's the point, right? That's
Yeah.
that's the whole point of the pressure of, and I don't know why the hell she thought that she needed.
I can't get my head around this.
Yep.
That's somebody trying to create an illusion of not having it all together, because
Oh
not
my
having
God, it is. I
requires
never thought of that.
illusory. Geez, what? Yeah, what are people trying to do to themselves here?
But
But
the thing
that's
is,
part of the problem, right?
should you really have to act sad that your dog died? I mean, I think I would just be sad anyway,
Yeah,
For sure. And
right?
you're and I'm not sure that I'd want to share it with people if I'm
I
totally honest.
definitely wouldn't want to
You
share it
know?
with people.
a
No.
couple of photographs that I've used many times are from Olympics of athletes winning a race.
Mm,
That moment where there's no illusion, there's just pure joy,
yeah.
Yeah.
of real hard work and then competitive spirit and all of that type of thing. And you can see it in them. There's no illusion there. There's no practice styling
Yeah.
or like that. It's just pure joy in that moment. There's no mask. There's nothing. And that's why sport, I think, can be brilliant, because those moments affect other people as well. You find yourself there and enjoying it. Or music can be like that as well. You mentioned a
Yeah.
concert. Actually, in the moment at the concert, and there's a song that's playing, there's no illusion there. It's the emotion grabs you, and you can't help it. You join in.
Yeah.
Um, that's brilliant. But it's when people practice crying to get likes.
Yeah, to do anything for the, I think that's the crux of the issue there, Andrew, is what you've touched on. If you do anything for that purpose,
Hmm.
then you've lost it. You have, haven't you? Like it become. We used the word authentic earlier. We've used it throughout. It's absolutely true. If you're trying to get the likes rather than actually just do the thing properly, then it's not going to work.
Yeah. That's it.
And eventually you'll get caught.
Authenticity, right? So it goes back
Yeah,
to like what really counts and what people really buy into genuinely is authenticity, right?
totally agree.
So it's not, it doesn't really matter of what that, if it's
Well,
positive, if it's
no,
negative, if it's in between, it's the authenticness that actually people buy into, and the people really want to
absolutely.
see at the end of the day. It's not fake illusions of
No.
happiness or financial wealth or success. It's actual authenticity.
Well, that's the thing. I wouldn't even care if somebody was incredibly wealthy and knew it. Like Noel Gallagher came out is like, oh, I always wanted that. I always wanted hundreds of millions in the bank or whatever. And it's like, okay, cool. Well, now you've got it. Great.
Yeah.
But he's not trying to lie to himself about it.
No, which is fair.
So, everyone doesn't like him, but you can respect him for it.
So that's it. Is that what breaks the illusion then? Is that what breaks the need for the illusion? It's being authentic and
I think the illusion is built on a house of cards. Eventually, it will
yeah.
tumble.
Well, you
And
can see that right now where
of course,
things are being exposed.
yeah,
With social media, online, things are being sort of torn away bit by bit, and you're actually seeing, and people are talking about it more openly.
yeah. It's actually quite funny to watch happen. Really, as someone who doesn't really care about social media that much, it's
I'm
quite
the
cool
same.
to see.
I'm in a different position because of the age of my kids. So
Sure,
I probably get a lot more exposure to it. And I find
yeah,
myself getting angry. And why do I get angry with something that has no impact in my life whatsoever? But I think
yeah.
that the reason I do is because of the impact I can see that it has on them, and by
I'll,
default, I'm sure on, the majority of people their age.
I'll be honest. And the turning point for me with social media was my wife needed me to leave the house for there, and I says, "No worries, I'll just be 2 minutes. I need to find out if Kathy's husband's the father," and that was it. I was like, "What the fuck am I doing?" I was sitting watching the paternity court thing on Facebook, and I was like, I need to stop this shit.
Hey, we're all guilty of it.
It's just driving me nuts. Yeah. Really made me question my life.
It's good to take a step back and question life
It really
and
did.
life's decisions
It did
every
wonders
now
for
and
me. It
then,
really did.
Sean. Every now and then.
You
Well, there
said,
you go.
speaking of this, Craig, there were two words you used in your Googled definition, immaculate and flawless.
Yeah.
So it's that idea that in order for you to look like you've got it all together, that you're immaculate and flawless.
Yeah.
That there's
That's-
no room for any error, flaw,
Which is-
imperfection, or whatever. That's not possible, is it?
It's not possible,
Well-
not achievable. That's why I say, I like the whole Eastern philosophy in yin and yang, right? You've got order and chaos. Now, if you look at the path is in the middle of those, in between orders. So sometimes it's going to be it's going to be in order. The other times you're going to have to ascend into chaos. But you've got to navigate that, and staying in the middle should give you happiness, right? It's kind of the same here. But there seems to be more of a push and a perception, say, well, actually, we can't have that negative stuff. That's not there, and no one wants to see that. So it's all got to be rosy and positive and great. And that kind of gets that false perception, and that's where the pressure comes from.
Well,
I think I have solved the problem there. Thank you very much.
I think the dead giveaway is if somebody forces you their whole life story on you, you probably know there's some hole in it somewhere,
For sure.
and it's not as good as it should be.
Well,
Yeah.
that does lead to what I was going to quote. I'm going to quote Mr. Cheery himself, Leonard Cohen.
I thought you were going to say me there.
Well, you and Leonard Cohen are kind of
Yeah.
Just quote a little bit. But he said the cracks let the light in.
I think that's true.
That's a pretty profound quote. I like it. I hadn't heard that.
Flaws that
Yeah, for sure.
light in. It's the flaws in diamonds that make them shine and things like that. People have this feeling that it's got to be perfect because perfection is fabulous and wonderful.
Yeah.
But it's not.
But it's not.
About the Mona Lisa or something at some point in one of our previous
We
ones.
did talk about that, yeah.
What a shit painting that is, by the way.
There you go.
Sorry.
So a perfect painting creates all furore. It's
I'll run with the diamond metaphor as well. Having bought diamonds in the past, if you buy them with like flaws and inclusions in them, no one fucking notices.
Yeah.
Not one single person would notice unless you've got an apps like a diamond tester or something. Who cares? But most people don't care.
the other metaphor for me, and Sean, you will like this one.
I hope so.
To do with music, and it's interference that creates beauty in music. It's harmonics, it's harmony, it's difference. It's not perfection. There's the old story about Stradivarius violins. Sounds brilliant because of the imperfections in them that create harmonics. So it's the same thing here, isn't it? If everyone's trying to be perfect, there's no interference, there's no difference, there's no light.
No, I'm with you. Yeah,
You know?
I totally. Yeah, and to be honest, I think that's probably the right quote to end on, isn't it?
I like it.
Not
Well
my-
summed up.
It's quite highbrow of us to finish on a Leonard Cohen quote.